Hello and welcome to game one of a best of two between Onord and Inshaaaa. 20th Panzer on the left here, in 8th Indian on the right for Inshaaaa. So 20th Panzer for Onord, 8th Indian for Inshaaaa. Today here on Orsha East in Steel Division 2. I actually streamed game 2 of this. I caught it live, and that would be recorded yesterday, so definitely go back and have a watch if you haven't already after you've watched this game, as this is game 1 in the series technically. And yeah, well, let's see what the players are bringing to the fight. Down south here, very contentious area usually. Inshaaaa's bringing in 3 Indian Assault Pioneers, 2 Gurkhas 2-inch mortars, Gurkhas rifles. In the center here, we see 6 Indian Assault Pioneers in the Jeeps, very quick and rushable. 5 Vickers HMGs, 3 defense groups, a 2-inch mortar, Humber Mark IV, Rifles Leader, Indian Scouts, Gurkhas rifles, 4 Gurkhas rifles, and a 6-pounder. Defense group and a Rifles Piet up north. Over here, we've got a Pack 40, Panzer Grenadier with a Panzerfaust and an MG42, Grenadier DP and a Stoßtrupp. And then a Panzer IV F1, Pionierführer, Flak 43, Grenadier Panzerfaust, Pack 40, Stoßtrupp, 2 Pack 40s, going to different positions, an Aufklärer, and 3 MG42s. Down south, a Pionierführer, 2 more Stoßtrupp, 2 DP Grenadiers, and then 2 Panzerschrecks. Early recon start for Inshaaaa here. Both players are Maverick. And yeah, I would say Inshaaaa right here has a very dangerous start. These units are quite a bit faster than Onord's, though potentially Inshaaaa might be worried about these Horches. The Stoßtrupp do come in fast transports in this division. It's a bit hit and miss which division has Stoßtrupp, which can fit in these and which doesn't. Realistically speaking, these are 4-man cars, so it's always funny to see 5-man squads in it. Someone sitting in the back. But Flak 43 already with 2 stars, getting fire on the C-fire, as down south we see Indian Assault Pioneers unloading 2 mortars, of course, and the 2 Gurkhas rifles as well. Multiple Panzerschrecks here, obviously expecting some sort of armored car push or whatnot, but an Indian Assault Pioneers from the center actually securing this flag position. No wonder so many Assault Pioneers and such were on this road. It's very clearly the only road to take to this position. Lots of Vickers up in the open here. Multiple rifles, Gurkhas rifles, Humber Mark IV. Yeah, they're all heading towards this hill to secure it. Stoßtrupp. Going to be facing off eventually against the Indian Assault Pioneers, but I don't want to miss whatever happens in the south here, as whoever wins these flags is usually in a much better position. But for now, the action seems to be happening in the north, as the center position seems to be very, very quiet. Just a bunch of defense groups and Gurkhas rifles moving up slowly. The very typical MGs here, not even showing their face. Potentially Onord's 3rd MG already going down to the dual Vickers HMGs here, or potentially getting sniped by the Humber. Indian Assault Pioneers in these trees, an odd position for them, but should work as the Stoßtrupp moves forward a little bit. Another Grenadier DP making its way forward as the Pack 40 unloads here, just HE. And it's interesting to see the HE not turned off at this level of play from Onord, just because if Inshaaaa does see this, I would expect very quickly a bomber to come and kill that. Pack 40s are very valuable in A. 2-inch mortars firing in the south here. Panzer Grenadier does have line of sight on the Gurkhas rifles, but Onord is following his troops back from the very front here. The 2-inch mortars are actually quite lethal. The only problem with them is they don't have any range. Right? The German mortars are usually just terrible in general. They only pin down. The Commonwealth mortars they kill, and the Russian 2-inch mortars have the range, right? So you could even put them back here and potentially hit the far side of this town, 750-meter range or so. But BF-109 coming in.
Gurkha's rifles falling back. They were already stressed out, so not going to take too much damage there.
But Panzer F1 and Panzer 3 also coming in here. Vickers moving forward as it is a 14-10 already. And can Inshaaaa keep up the pressure as 107mm mortars come down. Wolframen already gets a nice shot there. Plastering this entire group here. Let's see if we can get a better view on the whole map here. Yeah, so Wolframen being used very effectively there just to push out all these troops here as the Stoßtrupp finally move forward. Looks like they are shooting their rifles P at, and the Stoßtrupp unable to return fire, but oop, and we see the Boston Mark IV coming in right away for the Wolframen. The Flak 43, is it gonna be able to kill it? It is moving now, and that Boston is gonna go down. Kennedy DP versus the defense group. DP Kennedy in the worst cover. The Wolframen is pinned down fairly nearly, but for the cost of a bomber, maybe not quite worth it to not kill that unit. This position has been secured. Stoßtrupp did go down. There's not much here preventing Inshaaaa from moving forward, and a bunch of these Vickers and such are forcing these Canadian DPs off. Indian scouts gonna make that Stoßtrupp unload, but Panzer IV F1 and the Panzer III are gonna make short work of that. Stoßtrupp are forced to fall back here. The Indian assault pioneers getting the better of them as the Gurkha rifles and the rifles Piet here make another attempt. 3L coming in. Wise to the fact that there's very little AT around here besides the Piet. And as we see the first AA for Inshaaaa coming in. Still a 14-10. These northern flags being quite the pain for Onord as the Wolframen moves up and changes position here. .107mm mortar. Quite a heavy mortar to be shooting at so it's very good at this job at shooting the Flak 43, but I would fire it both at the same time to try and maximize damage. The other one, though, just trying to get shots on the Grenadier as the 3-star defense groups make their way forward. I think these are just these are taking double star, which is really interesting to see. Obviously valuing the suppression there, the reduced suppression on those units. Flak 43 forced to fall back. Did get a hit by a direct hit there. Wolframen just about reloaded. Humber Mark IV coming in the side here. Flak 40 did go down. There is a Rifles Piet here and the Indian Assault Pioneers. Not a ton of DPS out of these, but double teaming these should have no problem taking out this unit, as the support from the Guerrilla enables Onord to get some shots on the Indian Vickers here and the Indian Assault Pioneers. Just a fire position from the looks of things. But all you gotta do is skim one of these buildings if they are in it, and you will do a lot of damage. 14-10 still, as this flag completely goes down in the south here. Indian Assault Pioneers haven't made their way forward. Defense group doing a good job. But Indian Assault Pioneers now going to make their way to the Panzer Grenadiers. The 2-inch mortars enabling this kind of action to happen, as the Assault Pioneers, they are close to being pinned down, but Panzer Grenadiers not the best at this, and the mortar is also going to add suppression to this, so forced to fall back there. As Inshaaaa captures this flag. 7 minutes into the game. Mortar's still firing. Did get a couple hits on the MG, but the MG does retreat. Flak 43 as well. Still alive. Wolframen backing away a little bit. Going to be trying to shoot this, but it's just coming a little too late, as the infantry from Inshaaaa is now primed for an assault. Multiple Assault Pioneers here with their flamethrowers moving forward. You kind of need the Gurkha's rifles, which are a bit more resilient, to screen for these Assault Pioneers. But definitely not a bad assault here. Gurkha's rifles, though, 3 Thompsons. Very, very high DPS there in close range, those Thompsons. I think in terms of the CQC, it's the second best or third best SMG in the game. Crusader AAs are shutting down this BF-109, and we get the pilot panic. Ooh. Does drop its bombs. MG-42. Gonna go down there. And so does the BF-109. Mortar's going for the flak again. The Wolframen also not yet fired. Onord deciding against it, probably waiting for some kind of reinforcements, and is going to plaster this position where all the infantry move towards. Gonna DTP, getting shot at, still pinned down. That Sherman could very easily get line of sight without being in too much danger for anything. As the last of the Stoßtruppe attempt to put some kind of pressure on the hill. Ooh. Gotta be careful with these mortars. This Wolframen is damaged, but they did not hit their intended target. And actually the Wolframen is now going to be on counter battery duty. A bit of a waste of 6 shells, potentially. Generally you want to use them on a place that's big and clumped up, but these Indian assault pioneers are about just as cheap, so even if you kill all 3, killing the mortar is probably a better target. Having said that, all 6 shells whiffed, and that mortar kind of live another day. So definitely would have been a better investment in my opinion. As a transport gets sniped just from what? The Indian assault pioneers doesn't have range. Maybe the Humber or the Sherman sniped that. Elfclair, if you're not careful, that's gonna go down. Who has these tanks push back onto the hill? Shoot a kill on Sherman. Some kind of engagement being missed, but there's a 6-pounder up here. Sherman does go down to the APCR of the dual Panzer IIIs. Gotta be careful of that 6-pounder though. Hopefully with the Panzer IV F1, Onord is probably hoping at least that the Panzer IV's F1 excellent HE can help pin down that 57mm before it does anything, as Onord does manage to fight his way back into the south, but it's still 14-10. 10 minutes in this game, B-phase has arrived. Guerrilla's gonna start firing here down this road, but unlike a lot of roads in this game, there's no way to shoot at it from further away because of this hill. So it's very much forced just to drive it up way too close, and because it's not firing at that 2K range, something like that Humber or the Sherman, especially since the Pak 40 is not following up, can just drive in and bonk. Well, it missed the first shot. That isn't going to get the second, as Onord does excellently manage to pull that away. Espiata car here now. There's a Panzerschreck though. Hoping to deal with that Panzer III. Sherman also coming in though. As they actually see each other, and this is actually not a fight that the Panzer III wants to take. AP, not going to pin at that distance. It's going to disengage. But now with the one shot, that's a lot easier for the Sherman to kill because the Sherman does also aim quicker. Panzer IV's F1s. Oop. Very dangerous here. These F1s do not really have the ability to deal with a Sherman in that regard. (13-11) now. Only this flag going in favor of Inshaaaa. BF-109 still hanging about. As the autocar comes in. It does have HE shells on it, so not bad in this kind of a role, especially with the 12.7mm, that 50 cal. But yeah, gonna have to fall back there. The Panzerschreck also trying to move up. Sherman as well has eyes down here. Onord does capture this flag, but there's still a fairly good position here for Inshaaaa to dump reinforcements into it, so very much still in contention. Mortar is firing off again, trying to get that pack and the grill. As the Stoßtruppe and the Panzergrenadier finish off a 2-inch mortar. However, field engineers coming in. A multitude of them. Onord hoping that this Panzerschreck is going to be able to sneak forward, but the Indian field engineers would have to be extremely unlucky not to pump into that. Rifles Piet pinning down the SVT Pioneer. Indian assault pioneers take this flag too, and it is a 15-9 now. These two flags now also going to Inshaaaa. with the Sherman sitting here and the guerrilla unable to do its HE's fire support on these buildings, these Indian assault pioneers are going to be very, very stuck, I would say. So they're just going to be a pain in Onord's side to be able to remove those. Field engineers, though, this Stoßel long out of Molotov cocktails, so this push is just going to run forward. And there's a Piat here, so Panzer III has to be careful as well. But there's a lot of armored support behind it, too. SP Autocar, Sherman 5, Humber Mark 4. They could almost, well, as long as it's screened by infantry, drive up and cut off this reinforcing road fairly easily. Even with units potentially still in here. Wolfram firing again. Is going for this area as Inshaaaa tries desperately to scatter, but there's 3 Piats now also coming in. Ooh, first shot hits, and all these units, he was just spamming retreat. Good hits, but also pins down Onord's unit at the same time, and those Pioneers with SCTs are not going to be able to get forward. A bit of a disarray here, but nothing that will change anything anytime soon. Multiple Panzer Grenadiers moving forward again. There's still a Sherman here, but like, sure, you could move the pack forward, and that would stop the Sherman, but I would say the Sherman still generally rules this area in terms of fire support. However, multiple double-star Grenadiers put the 3-star by the Pioneer Fury now are advancing on this position. Both these units very, very weak here. And we might see the 12-12 here as Onord forces off these assault Pioneers. Mortars, however, coming down. One in this position, trying to fight at that AA, but no, I'm sure. As the Pac 40 as well gets shot at. These units come rushing back in, not having managed to kill. Actually, we get a bounce from the Sherman and the Humber, but it goes down to the TNT. That's funny. Yeah. And then with the light armor down here, there's nothing to stop these Shermans, really, besides the Panzerschrecks to just roll up and start providing support. Still a dangerous game with Panzerschrecks in these forests. But there's generally a lot more units from Inshaaaa here. A big fan of spamming infantry. Grenadiers did recover this position, and it's actually 13-11 for Inshaaaa as this north here gets cleared out. But Gurkha's rifles and, rifles Piat and Indian assault pioneers and engineers do force that Panzer Grenadier to fall back and into the open, and the dual brain guns are going to cause a problem. Bomber, not sure if that was the Boston, but something pinned down the rifles Piat there. Another BF-109. Just trying desperately to pin something down here. Spitfire veers off. Flak 43 still in the area. Wolfram having almost reloaded again. This is like the last. Well, this is a good push from Onord here, but the Sherman does take one down. The Guerrilla and the Panzer III really not doing their job to be able to penetrate that. T-34 does get a penetration, however. Is it going to get another? Yes, it goes down. There's still a 57mm, but as soon as that shoots, and it's going to shoot at the F1. Ooh, gets the bailout. Very, very lucky there. But the Panzer Grenadiers do open up. Goes down as well with a second shot. Panzer Grenadiers, though, also falling back. It looks like they're going for the other Panzer Grenadier, though. Not quite with the ability, and does get forced to fall back because the south sector here completely goes down to Inshaaaa. There's really no coming back here. He's got multiple tanks here now protecting this road. You would need something very heavy to make them hide. As we see a Hummel come out for Onord. Deutsche Stalin, so the IS-2 also coming out. There's already a 7-1 up north to provide AA for that. Likely hoping that this northern push will do quite a bit, but really an investment of heavy tanks on this map, which is why it's odd to have seen 20th Panzer here, is never really going to pay off unless you can get them to the edge of these hills. You can shut basically anything down if you can get tanks here or here, minus perhaps like 17 pounders, poking in from this forest, but if you're pushing to here, it's going to take your opponent a lot of effort to push back onto the hill. Meanwhile, heavy tanks up here, you're going to be able to give good covering fire into this town, but this is, at the end of the day, a single flag for all these units that he's investing. Meanwhile, Inshaaaa is basically winning down here with a fledgling force. The SP autocar actually in the back, gets the kill on the Wolframen. And Onord surrenders with that, with the sneaky autocar. 1,550 kills to 1,280 losses, just on the tail end of Phase B. Onord not seeing a way back into that game. And so, an interesting short one for you all today. Wolframen not paying off. Yeah, just not too efficient for Onord down south. So, generally a lot of these units could have done better, but well done on Inshaaaa's front in some of these, so good efficiency, and trading Panzer Grenadier for Rifles Piet is definitely worth it, right? The 30 points to 25. So, higher efficiency, and the SP autocar actually killed not only the Wolframen, but the Beobachter with the off-map, and I only saw one off-map charge go down, so, well, there's the second. Deleted by a 75mm autocar running havoc behind lines. How unfortunate for Onord. Well, that was that. I hope you had fun, Orsha East. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.